Bitcoin mining is in trouble. Whether you're a Bitcoin miner or you hate Bitcoin mining, from a profitability mine in BTC or from a regulation point of view and how that's going to impact your Bitcoins. We're going to break it all down today and more on the Voskcoin YouTube channel.
You know, you confiscate a few $1 billion out of private bank accounts and you print a couple $1 trillion and all of a sudden, you know what happens? People start to worry. So out of this worry, we have something called the Bitcoin.
It is a scam.
You know, just a couple of days ago, somebody relatively prominent said Bitcoin is bigger than the internet, bigger than the Industrial Revolution.
Was that Tim Draper?
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold.
Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. When it comes out, zero.
There you go. That's the Bitcoin chart, down more than 6%.
Crypto, or digital currencies, have now lost $2 trillion in value.
It just got even harder to mine Bitcoin. According to BTC.com, mining difficulty on the platform rose by nearly 13.5% to its highest level ever. The rise in difficulty comes as more and more Bitcoin miners come online.
We think it's a better gold if you look at the properties of money and what makes gold scarcity. Bitcoin's actually fixed in supply. So it's better than scarce in gold. It's more portable. It's fungible. It's more durable. It sort of equals or better gold across the board.
Bitcoin's annual electricity consumption is higher than countries like the Netherlands, Philippines, and Singapore, about 0.5% of total electricity in the world.
Just finished hanging out with our CMO, that's our Chief Mining Officer, Tails, here at the Voskcoin YouTube channel. Full disclosure, I love mining, okay? But that doesn't mean that I can't evaluate all the bad things going on with it lately. And I'm weighing that heavily into my plans to build a bigger Bitcoin mining farm with the end game of powering it by solar. So let's talk about some of the bad. Compute North files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and 363 asset sale. But what now? They're gearing up to liquidate their assets. The bankruptcy will indelibly alter the U.S. mining sector's hosting landscape. The first major casualty of this Bitcoin bear market cropped up last week when Compute North, one of the largest Bitcoin mining hosting sites in the United States, filed for bankruptcy. The company is planning to dig its way out of $266 million in debt via a 363 asset sale. Chapter 11 bankruptcy is often referred to as reorganization bankruptcy, meaning the debtor proposes a plan to keep the business running and pay back creditors over time. Keeping the business running, it's key here, because they need to continue operating. As long as the reorganization goes smoothly, the company's hosting centers and other assets should remain intact, even if they change hands. It's gonna be a long, tough slog for Compute North. Compute North is a stalwart in North America's Bitcoin mining industry, second only to Core Scientific, which we toured, and honestly kind of mind-blowing. This is in size of hosting services. The firm hauled in $34 million from hosting services in 2021, $12 million from self-mining, and $19 million from equipment sales. Total $65 million. They've raised roughly $420 million since 2017. They're getting closer to raising $500 million. Pretty freaking crazy. The Chapter 11 filing encompasses the entirety of Compute North's intricate web of subsidiaries, which are laid out in this handy graphic, courtesy of the Chapter 11 filing. Multiple joint ventures, 2 with Marathon, plainly dubbed Marathon Compute North, 1 LLC, and number 2 LLC. Compute North owns 40% and 18% respectively, and one with public renewable energy company NextEra Energy. Compute North, 50% on that holding. These subsidiaries, either in whole or by part, operate 5 facilities. Compute North hosts over $700 million of equipment from roughly 84 clients in over 466 containers. That's crazy. From Nebraska, North Dakota, and a lot going on in Texas. They got a lot going on. and so do we. So let's move on to the next one. Riot Blockchain sues Northern Data over disclosures related to Bitcoin mine acquisition. This is the second lawsuit related to the giant Texas mine that Riot acquired last year. Riot, a publicly traded Bitcoin stock that we've talked about before, is suing Northern Data. Breach of contract and failure to disclose important information. The lawsuit relates to Texas Whinstone Bitcoin mine, slated to be one of the world's largest by power capacity, which Riot acquired from Northern Data just last year for a cool $651 million, 80 million cash, and 11.8 million shares of Riot stock. In the lawsuit filed on September 11th in Delaware court, they claim that Germany's Northern Data failed to disclose $84 million in liabilities to a third party, which the third party asked for in April of this year. Interesting timing. Riot was trying to negotiate the final closing price for the acquisition, but Northern Data delayed and obfuscated.
Obfuscate.
Nailed it. Nailed that one today. Let's go. Riot also says that Northern Data continues to stall negotiations and is delayed paying almost $114 million it owes to Riot. These are big players dealing with big money. The Whinstone mine is unfortunately dealing with a Will Smith scenario. They are dealing with an entanglement. Yep. In a separate legal battle with one of its hosting clients, Japanese GMO Internet. Which, by the way, Texas Bitcoin mine Whinstone countersues Japan's GMO Internet, seeking $15 million in damages in this 4-year dispute. Yeah, things are heating up. And I ain't talking about turning Bitcoin miners on. Or like we talked about last week about freaking Idaho heating taters up and all that craziness. Bitcoin miner Bitfarms starts production in Argentina, increases hash rate to 4.1 exahash a second. The Canadian company plans to operate a second mining site in the country, which has lower electricity costs next year. It's interesting. Bitcoin miner Bitfarms, BITF ticker there, increases computing power hash rate. The Canadian miner added 10 megawatts of power capacity to its portfolio, but it aims to bring on a total of 50 megawatt and 10 megawatt increments in one warehouse in Argentina by the end of the year. Interesting, bold play, and good luck dealing out there. That's like the wild, wild west compared to, say, building something in Texas in the United States. But they're attracted by electricity pricing, established last year under an 8-year private party power contract. Alliteration is proud of that sentence. Both facilities are expected to lower overall energy costs for their portfolio, despite rising commodity costs in the energy market. Digihost crypto mining facility taking over Fortistar power plant. Canadian cryptocurrency company Digihost has taken over a former power generation plant on Erie Avenue. Digihost was the butt of noise complaints and environmental concerns when the plant began operations and testing back in February 2022. The commission acknowledged those concerns in their ruling. They stated that their oversight was only over potential impacts on the consumer electricity costs, of which they found none. For neighbors near the facility, the ruling meant something else. I feel like we're not being listened to and taken serious, said Karen, and honestly, that's kind of funny. You don't like it, Karen? Then move. That's what happens. Which is why the end game should always be to buy some land and build your own bubble. You don't want noise around you? Then get some acreage and get the hell out of populated cities. Otherwise, quit crying. You thought a city was gonna be quiet? But they got you pushing papers now?
They got you pushing pencils now?
But wait, there's more. Bitmain discounts Bitcoin mining machines in an already depressed market. Prices for Bitcoin mining rigs have fallen about 70% this year, which is pretty much in line with Bitcoin. Bitcoin mining hash rate is hitting around all-time highs recently, which is crazy. Electricity costs continue to rise. It's just been kind of nuts. They dropped the price of the Antminer S19 Pro 100 terahash model to $19 a terahash, which is about 30% below the expected market price. A quote from Dennis down here: the market is choking on volume of new hardware, some that was pre-ordered and financed with the hope of expansion. naturally, people like Jaron think that this new discounted price will lead the rig market to drop further. Right now, they are selling a 95 terahash a second version for $3,230. In my opinion, they're trying to move all of their S19 Pro and just S19 and S19J, whatever the hell, S19 anything except for XP stock, and get that out of here, because the S19 XP is on the horizon. I know Bitmain is awful with their Antminer naming. That's the way it goes. You look at the joules per terahash, 34.5. The XP is 21.5, which is like 50% more efficient there. These will become the new staple in mining farms, along with the What's Miner by MicroBT, M50, again, another hard miner name to follow, but alas, you know, we push on. I actually have the 95 terahash second version. It's been performing well as expected here in the last few days, but at a residential electric rate of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, it actually loses money every day. Even though it earns about $7, $8, it's costing about $8, $9 a day to run, to operate. Do not think for a second that the government, among many other organizations, will stop or let up in their attack on Bitcoin to discredit it, to degrade it, to devalue it, to ban it, to regulate it, to suppress it, to control it. Here's a headline: Bitcoin could be as bad for the planet as beef. A look at the relative value of cryptocurrency's climate damage puts it in the same league as cattle farming or gasoline burning, according to a new study from a bunch of idiots from the University of Albuquerque. Congratulations. I think you should stay in school because you still got a lot to learn. Taken as a proportion of market value, you can pretty much skew data to say anything you could really ever want. This is yet another bad take because Bitcoin is a financial liberation, global currency that is changing the world. From its blockchain technology to being borderless peer-to-peer, it's truly an incredible thing, and Bitcoin mining is in a novel just development. And yeah, you could say I'm biased. You could say these other idiots are biased in their own right against this and having just agenda against it. Oh, but wait, there's more BS like this. Like Bitcoin mining struggles to go green, research shows. Fossil fuels made up 62% of Bitcoin's energy mix in January, per their latest data here, compared to 65% a year earlier. Well, Mr. Cambridge, one, that's a reduction. Two, how about we look at all the green energy all these other industries are using? Like, I don't know, maybe we start by analyzing the military. And just to be clear, huge supporter of the service members, but the way the U.S. operates their military and the gross spending, it ain't cool, man. It ain't cool. And that comes as someone who's very proud and a supporter and user of the Second Amendment. So I don't want this misconstrued in any way. But how about we make a little bit of a more linear comparison, comparable comparison? How's Visa doing? MasterCard? Or that one that's worse than both of them, Discover, American Express, both those guys. How green is their energy consumption? Let's run the data. Quit targeting Mr. Orange Coin. And I'm no BTC maxi, but I do enjoy myself some Bitcoin. In some other lighter news, crypto mining and staking firm Foundry is offering a training program for miners. This is to train and prepare technicians for the Bitcoin mining industry, which is rapidly growing here in the United States. That's cool. I'd love to see more stuff like that. There's a Bitcoin mining merger. Hash rate increases and new facilities amid this market downturn. Bitcoin down 72% from its all-time high, but Bitcoin mining operations are expanding at a rapid pace. Crazy. All of us are way too bullish on the mining side. Bitcoin miner CleanSpark said its hash rate has surpassed 4 exahash per second. The Texas mining company Rhodium revealed it raised $11.9 million, according to its latest SEC Form D filing. Rhodium further disclosed a merger with Silversun Technologies just a few days ago. Merkle Standard held a ribbon-cutting ceremony as it opened a new mining facility in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So there's tons of bad things going on, and yet myself and all these major mining operations, and maybe you as well, are pushing forward, playing the long game, believing in Bitcoin and the mission, and mining is an incredible way to support that cryptocurrency, that blockchain, that network, and earn passive income along the way. We'll see where it goes, but it's a hell of a journey, and it looks like the future is going to be pretty intense. My name is Vosk. You're on the Voskcoin YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.